Hello, everyone. This is your girl, Angie E., the host of the show, Tip the Tea. We have a very special guest here, and we have an interesting topic today, too. Miss Carol Coleman, she's a mental health supervisor, which brings us to our topic on mental illness. I call it the mean disease because it is really mean. But anyway, we're going to kind of get into the show and talk about it a little bit. And if it's you or anyone you know that's struggling with this, I call mean disease, she's going to let you know how you can get some help or get your loved one some help. So now let's go ahead and introduce our guest. How you doing, Miss Carol?
Miss Angie with the tea.
Girl, yes. You know what? It's an honor to have you on the show today.
It's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much.
It's an honor to discuss the topic.
Yes,
you know,
it is.
it brings more awareness to the forefront.
Yes,
so
yes.
it's a blessing.
Good. I know, right, girl? Honey, you looking fabulous as always.
As like you.
Thank you. So I want to just kind of, get into the show a little bit.
Okay.
So exactly how long have you been in this field?
I've been working with mental illness for 27 years. My anniversary was March 17th.
Wow.
So I've been there,
girl.
but I've done other things. I worked with children.
Yeah.
I work with the homeless shelter. I work with, because it's two different topics. It's mental illness and it's mental with disabilities.
Oh, okay.
And so
what's
those
the
are
difference, though, if you don't mind me asking?
mental disabilities is more of autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. It's more of in that field.
Yeah.
Mental illness is more we're going with schizophrenia, bipolar, clinical depression, manic depression.
Yeah.
So it's such a broad field.
Yes.
And you have to get a whole team of people to work to get you diagnosed correctly.
Wow.
So what I do is I'm like a liaison to get the people to the doctors and to different things to make sure that they're getting the proper medication that they need.
Wow.
To go on.
Yeah.
To function.
To function,
Yes.
yeah.
Because mental illness can also deal with ADHD,
Oh, yeah?
PTSD. So it could deal with post-mat, it could deal with stress, it could deal with,
Right.
depression, it could deal with a loss of a parent, a loss of a job. We just had that issue where somebody went and, shot up the people in Aurora thing, so it could deal with that, So it could go from one extreme to the next. But it takes a whole community to bring it together. Sometimes people with disabilities, may have still had their FOID card.
Well, now, what is that? What does that consist of?
That's, when they get cleared for guns,
Okay.
and they might be experiencing some. So I think we all have to work together so the people can be treated right, where we won't have incidents like what happened in Aurora.
Right.
Because if they have a history of that, then they really shouldn't be cleared to have a gun.
Well,
And
they
then
were saying that. I heard about that on the news.
And if they don't get cleared, we have to have them go out and get the gun. So the Illinois State Police really needs to step it up when it comes to that. So you deal with that, So it's so many different levels.
Yeah.
And it's so much paperwork that you have to go through to get the right help that you need.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a process.
Yeah. I can imagine. That's a pretty serious field, I'm sure.
It is.
And I believe it can be pretty challenging. Is that right?
It is. It's challenging every day. Sometimes it can be fun. Sometimes it can be funny. Sometimes it can be really sad.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Because when you see a person struggling so hard and you want the person to get the help that they need, especially in our culture, we raised to pray about it. We raised to, just pray about it. You'll be okay.
Right.
We really don't advocate to go out there and get the help that we need. And the help is there. You have to go through your primary doctor, and they can refer you to who you need to go to get the help that you need. But we our culture don't believe. I think we're getting better, but I also see that more of our culture are experiencing mental illness.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, schizophrenia is something big.
Yes,
somebody's
it is.
hearing voices. And it could be where a person can just be okay
Yeah.
one day and
And
then
all of a sudden,
just snap.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lady, in my neighborhood as a child, and she was perfectly fine. I won't mention her name. I can't do that, but it was so sad, and she was my friend.
Yes.
And one day she was fine, and then it's like that next week, well, I'm hearing someone put something in her drink, but it took her to a whole nother
Level.
world. She just wasn't herself anymore, so she ended up being going into a mental institution, which I think was so sad, but I still think about her all the time.
And then we just had also an incident with the Parkland shooting where they shot the children.
Yeah.
And, you had some of those kids experience survivor's remorse, which is also a mental illness, because what the experience was, why did I live?
Right.
And so then they had post-traumatic stress syndrome because they didn't understand, why did you take my friends and I live? So a couple of those children have committed suicide over that.
Right.
And so it's such a broad field, and we just have to really pay attention if somebody's hurting, if somebody is sick, if somebody has seen a big change. And it can start from a child all the way, this child was fine, and then all of a sudden you see different things in them.
Yeah, in their adulthood.
In their adulthood. Or just transitioning from junior high to high school.
Right.
High school is different from when you and I went.
Absolutely. Much different. Girl, I totally agree.
So high school is
Much
totally different from
Yeah.
you and I went.
Yeah,
And so
it
you
is.
see a lot of changes in that. I had a girlfriend that daughter went to college, and, they smoked something, and something happened to her because,
I'm hearing a lot of cases
yes,
of that
and
too.
I've heard
Yeah.
other girlfriends
sad.
that say, because they're ordering stuff off the internet, and which
Yeah.
can lead also to mental illness.
Illnesses,
So
yeah.
it's so many different levels, and it could
Yeah.
be a brother, a sister, a mother. It could be us,
Come on now.
experiencing
Yes.
something that's so traumatic that we just afraid to talk about it or to get the help that we need. And we
Yeah.
have to be able to talk about it, and we have to be able to talk to people that will listen.
Yes.
And understand, and not judge people for.
Absolutely. That's the main thing.
That's-
Stop judging people, because people don't realize
Yes.
it could be us today, you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, exactly.
So stop
and
judging
that's what we
people.
have
Get
to put.
folks help,
Get the help that they need, and take time to listen. I had somebody call me a couple of nights ago, and she just needed somebody to talk
Just
to.
to talk to, yeah.
And and so when I go to doctor's appointments and different things, I try to, if I meet a stranger,
Yes.
especially if it's an elder or a child,
Yeah.
I sit and listen. I don't care what I got to do, because I don't know if it's their last conversation. I don't know if they just need to express themselves. And I think we such in a hustle bustle, everything is so quick, fast.
Yes.
That we need to all step back, take a breath, and just listen to people.
Absolutely.
Because if we advocate for everybody, then everybody will get the help that they need.
Yes.
And
I
so-
totally agree with that.
Yeah. But you have to have a passion for it. When I started out, my passion was really criminal law.
You know what? And that was my next question too. I was gonna ask you, it seems like you really have a really, really deep passion for
Yes.
this. And that's a wonderful thing.
Because you know what? The caseload that I work at, I just really believe in a good diet,
Yes.
exercising,
Yeah.
just
I
balancing.
agree.
And I'm not saying that heals the land, but I'll say every
But it
little bit
helps.
helps.
It helps,
Yes.
yeah.
An open door policy.
Yes.
Let them express themselves. It's okay if they say a cuss word or they having a bad day. We all have bad days.
We all do.
Yeah.
Just let them vent.
Let them
You know what I'm
vent,
saying?
because it can alleviate some of the situations, behavior issues that you might have that come for later. What we do is we open different group homes with
Yeah.
people with mental illness and people with disabilities that we place them in to
That's great.
help them.
Yeah.
Some of them go on into apartments, some of them can graduate out the program, and some of them have to be there forever, which is fine.
Right.
But at least they're getting the help that they
That they
need.
need,
And I
yes.
think people have to not be ashamed of getting the help that they need.
Yeah.
Like the caseload we have, they go to church, they interact, they in the community. You know, you try to give them a normal life.
Right.
But if they need help and you see changes, it's a team of us, doctors and case managers and psychiatrists that work together to try to get them the balance that they need so they can function in life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, you know, and people don't realize that alcoholism, drugs, like I said, losing a parent, all of that can lead to depression, anxiety.
Yes. And those are forms of kind of like a form of mental illness.
Yes,
right?
yes. Some of us got it under. Some of us can control it. We all deal with it every day. We might not have been diagnosed,
Right.
but we deal with some form of fashion. I had a loss. I had never lost nobody in my family, and I had lost my grandmother.
Yeah.
And that was, besides my mother, that was the closest thing to me.
Yeah.
But I experienced, but it didn't come upon me until 5 years later,
Oh my God.
where I would think about, you know, wow, my grandmother, you know, she said I would miss her.
Yeah.
You know, when I was out there getting smart.
I know, right?
She said, you going to miss me when I'm gone.
And they right, too.
Yeah, and they right. And I'm like,
They
man.
right. Mm-hmm.
And
'Cause I sure miss my grandma.
yes, and my brother, you know, she made us go to church, and he played the piano by ear and just all them gifts. But, you know, we all experiences challenges in life. And I think me and my brother was one of the two that took it the hardest. And mine was more internalized because I didn't really talk about it. I thought I was fine, but it had came up on me.
But you really
Yes, yeah. And so, and I didn't, you know, have to get medication or anything for it. But I just started, you know, expressing my feelings.
Yes.
But that may not work for everybody else. A lot of people trade it for drugs, for alcohol, for pills.
And then sometimes it can be genetic too.
And
right?
it can be genetic, yes. It can be,
I thought about that too,
you know, your parents can have a history of bipolarism, which can lead to the child, ADHD. You know, so it's different. It's such a broad thing.
Yes.
And that's why you have to really get a good doctor.
Yes.
Like you and I are engaging in the conversation.
And that
you
helps,
have to.
yeah.
You just can't get a doctor that's just gonna push something, and you still feel that you're battling.
Yeah.
So you have to, because then you will have a person that's so lethargic and that's on all this medicine, but he's not acting like himself because he's so overly medicated.
I know.
So we don't want that too. So we have to, you know, run blood tests every 3 months, make sure the levels are in order, make sure it's not too much, make sure if you're seeing a change, just communicating with the person and just being an advocate for the person. And I think that's what people have to do.
You know, it brings me back to the remembrance. I don't know if you knew, but I had, and still does, have an empowerment group for women, and it's called Virtuous Women, where we will meet every third Friday of each month. And we would get together and we would just talk. And a lot of them just needed just like
to talk.
Just to talk, just to vent.
Yes.
And, you know, it wasn't no judging. No one was judging, because how can we judge? Because we all facing, or we battling, or we enduring
We just ain't
something.
been diagnosed.
Come
on,
now.
somebody.
That's what I'm talking. Right.
We just ain't been diagnosed,
haven't
and we
been
knew how to
diagnosed,
go through the process.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
everybody don't know how to go through the
I
process.
know.
And sometimes
Yes.
people just need a conversation.
Yes.
You know,
And
we
that
don't know,
helps. Yeah.
even, you know, with all that's done happened in the world, we don't know what we could have done to
Right.
maybe stop that person.
Absolutely.
To listen to what that person will say, to see how we can help that person before it goes to a shooting or, you know,
Absolutely.
now the kids have to suffer and deal with that, you know. And a lot of times I was listening the other day on the news that with the children that went back to the school, that can start anxiety, depression, because now they done went back to the school trying to deal with the incident. And then you don't know if that person.
Sorry to cut you off, but is that the one, the school where they had that shooting, a mass shooting or something?
Yes.
And one of the little girls just committed suicide
Yes.
last night. I saw it on the news.
Yes, she
I'm
just
like,
committed
so
suicide, and then
sad.
another little boy committed suicide a couple months before that.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, but we have to pay attention. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
I
do.
don't know the
Yes.
logistics of the situation, but she might have said, I don't want to go to school. And that is a time where we may have to homeschool.
Yes.
Going to school may have been so fearful for her.
Yes.
That she just couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
And so we thinking, oh, you going to be okay, or you going to, as a parent, we do the best we can.
Absolutely.
Nobody can judge nobody on how they parent their child.
Exactly.
Because we doing the best we can. Nobody gave us a book, and we have to adjust to each child.
Absolutely.
And I think my daughter was totally different from my son.
Oh, yeah, everybody has their own,
Yeah.
has their own personality.
And I had to learn that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one
Yeah.
going this way, and I don't got to worry about it, but this one, they know me at the school. They
Exactly.
be like, here she come.
Yes.
Here come little Jessie mom.
Right.
So you have to adjust with each child. So that incident could have taken her back, and where every time she stepped into school, it just caused her so much anxiety.
Yeah.
That's so sad. It just was it just hurted my heart to hear that, because my job is always, how can we save them, or how can I fix you to help you?
Yes.
Or what can I do to just to get you to be okay, where you can just express to me, I'm not feeling well.
Right.
Or can you take me to the doctor? Because you don't want, I never been an advocate for all this medication.
Right.
But if you need it, take it.
Take it. That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good stuff. It's very interesting, because you never know who may be dealing, and it could be someone very close
to you.
Even us, you know what I'm saying? None of us is exempt. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be very careful who we, judge or try to judge or whatever. You have to be very careful. Which that brings me to to the next question. So, what made you choose this particular career?
Honestly, I was going to go to law school.
Yeah,
but I became a young mother.
Yes.
But I really wanted to be a criminal lawyer. But I became a young mother, and so I started at this job.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't want anybody to pick up my kids, drop them off.
Oh,
so exactly.
That sounds so much like
exactly.
me.
So I had to adjust because I had chose the life.
Yeah.
So school was on the back burner, and it was about raising my kids. So it was me picking them up every day, dropping them off, and making sure they was at their grandparents' house, because both of their grandparents kept them on both sides.
Oh, that was.
And so that was a blessing.
That was.
They had great grandparents,
Yeah.
and so I just didn't. I had been offered a job with a pharmaceutical company, and I just did not. And it was downtown.
Chicago?
Downtown Chicago. And so I didn't want to take that either.
Yeah.
Because me getting up, spending time on the train, if my kids got sick, or this and that, no, I knew I was at a job where I can get back and forth, get my children off to school. If my kids needed me, the company was understandable where I had to go get my kids. And it wasn't often, because the grandparents were so involved, I could call them to go get them, or their dad.
Yes.
But I just wanted to make sure that I was able to get my children. So social work, you ain't gonna make millions of dollars,
right?
But I'm happy at making a change in what I do,
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, because I had a caseload where all the individuals were on behavior plans. And sometimes, they come in with different behaviors and issues and this and that. Right. And none of them are. So that means whatever we were doing in a team that I work with, we did great at alleviating that part. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And so, because, people with mental disabilities or mental illness does, they may act out. We had I was reading today, we had a UFC fighter, and the wife had called because, and she did very well, because she let the police know, look, he's experiencing some depression, some psychological issues, and she let the police know, please come prepared, but don't hurt him. I don't want the police to get hurt, and I don't want him to get hurt. And when they came and convinced him to go to a facility, he was good with it. He didn't act out. He didn't, because they didn't come. This just happened. So that's okay. This just happened probably a couple of days ago. But I'm sure in his 30s.
My God.
Yeah, and his wife called. She had called 911, and she let the operator know. So I think when we need help, we have to be clear with our documentation, and clear with people understanding what's going on.
Cold.
Okay, and clear with the understanding of what's going on. With what's happening. And so I think that I don't know. It's so many levels. It's so many levels. I think we just need to pay attention. If somebody's hurting or if something's going on with a person, we really need to. Need some water?
I'll get some later. Okay. I'm okay. But like I was saying, this is a very serious thing to deal with, and that's why I call it the mean disease.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, none of us is exempt from this situation. It's it can be very challenging.
And I think people sweep it under the rug.
I do too.
It's not like, oh, she got cancer. You know what I mean? Or any lupus or anything. I think they don't pay attention enough to it. Yeah. But it's becoming more and more. If your child is experiencing some issues, he shouldn't have guns.
You better say that.
You shouldn't be teaching them how to shoot guns.
Absolutely.
If he's isolated from the world, no. And if he's isolated himself from the world, and he just sit in his room playing them violent video games, them spirits can get within you.
Absolutely, and that's why I think so many parents should, if they're not, get more involved in your children's whereabouts.
Yes.
Every time. I know when I did, when my kids were younger.
Yes.
Girl, I go in their room, search through the drawers.
Yes. Yes.
I would go in there and they would say, Mom, why you do that? No, because I want to know what you're doing.
Yes.
What's going on. You know what I'm saying?
We, like I said, this is a different generation, and I understand we have to adjust. But these kids need to go outside, get some fresh air. Yeah. If they sitting in the room playing all these violent video games, and then they say, I saw it on TV and I went and shot up to school, that is an issue.
Right. Or either, like I said, get them in some type of extracurricular,
yes.
After school programs or something like that. I'm sure they still offer those.
Let them be free in expressing themselves. Ask them, what would you like to do? What is your hobby?
Yeah.
Let's find something where you enjoy doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Where you just like doing.
Yeah.
So when you see a child in there isolating themselves, and they not interacting with friends and nobody's come over, pay attention to that.
That's something to to dig into, or just like you said, pay attention. And ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Are you okay?
Oh yeah, and if they say I had thoughts, of killing myself, or something happened with my mother and I thought about, I just thought about doing this or doing that. We have to pay attention to that.
Absolutely. Pay attention to the signs, they say.
Yes.
So that is that's very important too. So I'm gonna go and get into the next question too. And so you kind of explained, I was gonna ask you, so what do your job actually consist of, on a daily basis?
Daily basis is speaking with case managers, maybe doctors, dealing with the financial parts of it, because I think a lot of people with disabilities, they have a lot of different things that they can get that people may not. Social Security, public aid, different things that they can get that we got to make sure that we keep up on it. So that way.
Sorry, everybody.
Okay.
I don't know why it's kind of dry here.
Just different. So that's what it consists of: dealing with the guardians, dealing with parents.
Yes.
Making sure that we communicating good with the parents.
Yeah.
Dealing with doctors, nurses. It's a whole general.
Yeah.
It's a big spectrum. So every day is something new. And I think that's why some days the job is fun. Sometimes they're so funny. So funny. Oh my God.
You know,
Sometime
my kids.
in my day.
I wanted to ask you too. I couldn't wait for you to come on the show because my kids always say this because I'm always wiping down stuff, cleaning stuff. Every time you eat, I'm washing dishes.
That's
I'm
called
like
OCD.
I know, and that's what they tell me. They're like, "Mom, you got OCD,"
Yes.
and I was like, "What is that?" And they were like, "Mom, sit down,
Yeah.
chill."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like a germaphobe, but it could be from anything.
That's
from,
what I was going to ask you. Is that like a form of mental illness?
yes, it could. Yes,
Are
it
you
could be.
serious?
Yes, it could
Oh,
be.
gosh.
Because it could
But
be.
I'm just like that. I
It
grew
could,
up
because
like
you
that.
know what? It's different levels of it. Like
Yeah.
some people will think about it, and it could be as bad as you wake up out your sleep and gotta wipe something
Cleaning.
down
Yes, I've done that before.
in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Yes.
And then what about I bleach everything down? But
Yes.
see, I grew up like that.
Yes.
My grandmother,
Yes.
when she washed dishes, cleaned the
Yes,
stove, cleaned
yes,
the
I put a
refrigerator,
cap full of bleaching too.
everything
Yes.
is bleached down.
Yeah. Or it could
So-
be, but it could be something as somebody thinking like the chairs are underlined.
Oh no, I don't think.
But it's different levels
Yes.
of OCD.
Oh,
It's
so what's
different.
my level?
Okay. OCD. But but it's a specific thing. It can go from anywhere from somebody combing their hair, just
What, constantly?
consistent. Yes. It can be somebody just have to check Facebook.
Oh,
Wow.
wow, that's a form of.
Yes, because things can become an addiction,
Okay, well, yeah,
and so
I'm sure that could be a
yes,
diagnostic. Or
yes,
something
yes.
else.
So it becomes a disorder, and it becomes an addiction.
Okay.
And so it can bother the person so much mentally
Okay.
that they can't function unless it's done. It can become addiction. Just I gotta watch TV.
Yes.
Can't focus unless I watch TV.
Right.
Or straighten up chairs.
Yeah.
Or making stuff. Everything is lined in order.
Right.
I think to a certain degree we might have a little OCD because I cannot stand my desk out of order. Like when
Me
I come,
either. I
make
can't
sure my
stand
stuff is out. When my
anywhere I'm
staff's at, I'm
sitting.
like, hey,
Yes.
please make sure my desk is in order. And they wipe down. I got the
That's
Clorox wipes.
Right.
You got everybody coming.
I don't feel like it's just me.
No.
Because I'm
No,
like, no, I can't stand anything.
No.
If I'm sitting somewhere, it has to be neat.
Yes.
Or I will itch.
Or it could be
What do you call that?
OCD. Or it could be something as far as somebody being a hoarder. They have to have these medicines.
Yes.
Oh
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
know
so
people
you
like
and that could be a mental illness because
yeah.
the hoarding can cross over into something that is detrimental to you.
Yeah.
Where it's affecting you.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's when we have to step in.
Yes.
And try to get medication. I don't think you need to be medicated.
I hope not.
but I think, but some of our issues are not a bad issue.
It's not.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I told them.
But if you wake up out your sleep, that's a little
That's a whole nother.
Yes, that's a whole
You say I'm on only level 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well,
You're
that
level-
might be like level 2.
Yes,
So,
yes.
okay.
When it crosses over and it affects people,
Yeah.
now it's just affecting you.
Yeah.
And then maybe other people be like, Mama, sit down.
Right.
But if that's who you are, we
That's
accept
just-
it.
And
Yeah.
they know that. I don't like that. I can't stand
But when it starts,
filthiness, okay? Yeah.
crossing over where, like, if somebody's eating and
Right.
they just can't stand the plates on the table, and they just
Exactly.
come take your plate.
And start just watching.
Well, yeah.
And sometimes you
Yes.
will be finished.
Yes.
I know somebody
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
I be
That
like,
can
wait,
be-
give me my plate.
yes,
I'm not even
that's-
done.
yes.
And then they
And
say, you
usually with
eat too slow.
OCD, we try to correct the situation and be like, well, maybe you just need to wait and then ask the person,
Right.
are they finished?
Are
Don't
they
just
finished?
go take their stuff. So it's
Girl.
different. Or lining up chairs or making sure everything is
Always
straight.
you always got up doing
Yeah,
something.
up
Gotta
and doing
do something.
But it's what,
Yeah.
like yours is cleanliness. Mine is,
Making sure everything is
lined
in
in my
spot.
desk.
Right.
I
In the
mean,
right
even on my
places and
board, it
spots.
has to be. So you're not in this alone. Like I said, we all a touch away, baby.
Right.
We are all a touch away. I'm making sure everything lined up on my
Right,
board.
right.
I just don't like a lot of paper and junk. So
Well, at least your baby feels
I
better. Better. You're
we
like,
all, and people have
I'm
to
at level
realize-
1.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So my next question is to you is, do you deal with children, the elderly, or just all around the board?
You know
everybody?
what? usually, and whom I work for, we can get them in at 18, and they can age out until they might have to go to a nursing home. But I have worked.
So what about if they're younger than 18?
We do have some children homes we place them into, but children, we try as much as we can to keep them with the parent. We don't want them, you know, when they come to us, we trying to teach them the daily living skills.
Okay.
Which, how to communicate in the world and still live a normal life as possible. You know, so when the parents want to sign them up there, we trying to give them a normal world with the help of a team of doctors and case managers to, you know, make sure they have a normal life. With children, we don't accept children, but we want them to stay in their homes and get the help that they need before they come to us. But if they don't get the help that they need and they come to us, that's fine. We can get the people, you know. But sometimes it's difficult. You know, it's difficult for a parent to,
I'm sure.
You know, that's a high divorce rate when parents have children with disabilities because they're difficult to raise.
Right. And it probably
it puts a lot of strain on the marriage.
On the marriage, I was going to say
because mothers, we're nurturing. And I think with men, it's sometimes hard, especially if it's a son, to accept that there's a child, you know, especially if they had dreams that, oh, he's going to play basketball or this and that, and then they go off into this. So it's challenges all the way around.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you. I know that can be kind of challenging, especially with your line of work.
Yes.
You do it every day.
Every
that's
day.
Amazing, you know.
Good days and bad. I
Right.
Lord.
Right. So let's, I'm going to ask you another question. So do you travel to speak about this awareness? Or?
You know what? I have not traveled to speak about it unless somebody contact me to do something personally. I have not traveled to speak about it. I'm getting more and more involved in trying to sit on different boards, trying to see what other direction it will take me.
It will take you,
I don't mind doing stuff for people. I don't mind if they call me and they need the appropriate help.
Awesome.
But I love just dealing with regular people that may be experiencing something. Those are the people that I like helping, just to make a change. You know.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. So, to my viewers, if you need help or you know someone that needs help, she's going to give you a 1-800 number that you can call and you can begin, you know, to help them on their journey.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. Mental Health America, 1-800-985-5990. You can call them, and you can even text them and ask them questions, and they'll get back to you.
Wow.
The text is 66746.
Okay.
Call them. If you need help, we also got the mental health hotline. That's 1-855-773-5606.
Wow.
You can call them. They'll get you the right help. And we also got Avoid a Mental Health Crisis.
That's good.
And with that, we want to try to stop it before it happens.
Yes.
You know, and so you can call them, and that number is 877-964-1245.
Go
so,
ahead, girl. That's what's up. I like that.
Yes, and
you
so
know, because you know a lot
it's
of people
different
out
levels
here. Yes.
of what you might need. You might be thinking about something, and that hotline is to help you stop thinking about something, whether it's suicide, whether you're going out to hurt someone else, whatever it is.
Wow.
Don't be ashamed.
Yes.
Depression is part of mental health.
Yes.
You know, we all can experience depression.
Yeah.
And that's nothing to be
absolutely.
ashamed of. It can be from the loss of a parent.
Yes.
You know, a loss of a child. That's a big one.
Yeah, just a loss of
Yeah.
a loved one.
Yeah.
Period. It could be very,
Or
very challenging.
somebody is pregnant and preparing to have a child and loses the baby.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
that's
course.
that
Yes.
postpartum depression.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
real.
That is real.
That's
It's
real.
very real.
And that's
very
mental
serious.
illness.
Yes.
That is real. And
Wow.
so sometime after people have a baby, they experience that and they can't get past why.
Right.
Sometimes people
right.
don't connect with the children. That's real. So we need to make sure we get all the help that we need.
They need. That's absolutely correct, and that's wonderful. So I want to ask you one more thing. So do you have a family?
Yes, I have 2 children. 20.
Whoa,
almost have to think.
what? Girl,
23 and 28.
Ow. Okay, girl.
23 and
fabulous.
28. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I had
That's
2
awesome.
kids and 4 grandkids.
Really?
I know.
Girl,
Yes,
no.
yes.
You don't look
Stand
like
step
that.
was 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. They could be so fun.
I know.
They
At
could be
times, as long as they go home.
I know, right? I just enjoy all of
Yeah.
mine. I don't get a chance to see them like I really want to.
Yeah, I don't see them
But
that often
I
unless they
love
having
them.
birthdays and with me working, so I'm not the grandmother that stays home. Like they had grandmothers that
Yeah.
kept their kids.
Yeah.
They kept them,
Right.
and they didn't get that blessing. Uh, my mother stays at home and keeps my daughter, little girl, but I think the other 3 are in a little preschool or whatever. But no, they didn't get that. I'm sorry, but I'll buy you a coat and some
So
shoes.
funny. right, girl. You funny. Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about happiness. What makes you happy, Miss Carol?
Helping people.
That's a good one.
Just making sure if I can make a difference in
that's so
somebody's
good.
life that doesn't necessarily have to do with money or giving.
Yes,
It can just be
yes.
something as little as listening. So if I can help somebody,
Just by listening.
I'm good with that. That's a good feeling to go home and you sleep well just from helping somebody.
That's amazing.
And just keeping the peace.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep the peace and just going through the process.
Yes.
And I'm good with that.
Wow. So I guess that answered my next question.
Okay.
My next question was, what sustains your happiness? So I guess that was it.
Yeah, keeping the peace, going
Yeah.
through the process, and how I go through the process.
Yes, absolutely.
And having good friends like Miss Angela over here. Yeah, 'cause it has to
Angie.
be, hey.
I know that's right.
But it has to be somebody that know the word and know God, and that just can help you through. You know, I
Absolutely.
smile a lot, but that doesn't mean I don't feel pain like the next person.
Absolutely. We
And
all
so-
do. Yeah, like you said, whether if it's internally.
Yes, externally, yes,
Yeah, so
yes.
it's something. But okay, so how do you balance your work and your personal life too?
Prayer.
Well, that's the answer to everything,
Yes,
honey.
'cause, girl, they was, with work, they was calling me all last night. I was like, but I'm off.
I know.
So mental health is a 24-hour job.
I'm sure it never stops.
It
you
never
know?
stops.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I try to take Sundays as God day and Sundays to rest, but yesterday it was not that way. I was
Yes.
off, but I was
Still
going,
yes.
yes.
Still doing
And
the same. So you really don't have an off day. Really,
because it's a 24-hour job.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I just thank God to be able to be available
Absolutely.
for them when they need me.
When they need it.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it was a big situation, so there was no way around them not needing me.
Yeah.
And so and that's okay. It
Yes.
just comes with the territory. So it don't upset me. I just go through the process and say, boom, do this, and I'll take care of it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a situation where I have to get up and come, I will.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if it's just a phone call, I'm glad somebody calling to talk to me, baby.
Come on
At least they
now.
give me enough respect.
Come on now. Go ahead, girl. I know that's right, girl. So I'm going to ask you one more question. I keep saying that. But because this is interesting.
Yeah,
this is something
it is.
serious and it's something important.
Yeah.
I love, helping people as well. But I wanted to ask you, so what's next for you, Miss Carol?
What's next? That is an amazing question. I guess it's like Joseph in the Bible.
Go ahead, girl. Ooh,
God bought favor 13 years later.
come on.
And so
Speak that.
whatever God has in line for me,
Yes.
where I can learn
Yes,
and help
absolutely.
people, I don't know what the future may bring. But I'm okay with that.
Yes.
But I'm ready for the ride.
Come on now, girl. I'm with you
ready
on that
for the
one.
ride.
I
And
know
so
that's right.
I can't say, well, what's this next for me? Because I don't know.
Never know.
But my door is open
Oh, wow.
to experience many things.
Yeah. But you know I have to ask that. because
Yes.
That's part of it.
Yes.
Tip the TV.
Yes. So whatever
just
favor
in-
that comes
Yeah.
into my life, like just
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
here, that's favor for me. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
to God be the
That was
glory.
favorable. This
Yes.
wasn't in the plan,
Yes.
but we got on the boat.
Come on now. I know
So,
that's right.
Whatever,
My
whatever
girl.
God aligns me with, and whatever people He aligns in my path,
Absolutely.
the door's open. I'm not limited to anything.
That's
And I'm just not limited to mental health or this and that. I'm open for all things, just to grow as a person.
Absolutely.
And just for people to remember that and not just don't judge me, but learn me for who I am.
Come on. Say that again.
Okay.
I know that's right. So many people out here are so quick to judge.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes,
So
yes.
it's crazy.
So much negative.
But I am so glad again that you came on the show,
Yes,
girl.
it was a
and
pleasure.
You have enlightened me on mental illness. I mean, this was really therapeutic for me too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I thank you so much, and it really was an honor and a pleasure for you
so
to be
much.
here,
I'll
girl.
come back anytime.
I know. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay.
Look, yes.
Many more topics we can discuss.
Come on now, because we look. Stay tuned.
Ooh, Lord.
This is to be continued.
Okay, exactly.
I know that's right. So we just gonna wrap up the show. Thank you, Miss Carol, again, viewers. She was very, very informative, and I thank her for coming out to share all of this information with us. So with that being said, okay, we're gonna that's it for the show today. Tune in next Monday at noon. Go to YouTube, type in Illinois Media School Lombard, Tip the T, and the show will pop up. And here we are live, streaming live. I'm sorry. So if you or anyone you know in the Chicagoland area and you want to exploit your brand, your network, or just have an interesting topic to talk about, come on and be my special guest. Let's tip the tea. For more details, inbox me. Type in my name, Angela Eskridge. It's Angela, Eskridge, Eskridge. Type it in, and I will send you a message and respond to you with more details. So come on out, tip the tea with your girl, Angie E. See you soon.
That was off the chain. That was an excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.